All right. Welcome to our team call today. I am excited to go over chapter number 4 in The Power of One More. And I asked Autumn if she would do that. And so I'm going to have her get started. And then I have some really, really good content for you guys planned. I'm so excited. I have been racking my brains, you guys, for 4 years, trying to be like, how can I be a better leader and coach and help you guys help more people and help you guys feel more comfortable in your business and knowing what to say. And so I'm really excited to share some of the things that I've been learning about recruiting and how to lead with the business and how to talk about the products and how to handle objections. And these are things like I have people tell me like, you're just so natural at this. I'm like, honey, if you knew how long it's taken me to even figure things out and to feel comfortable talking to people and handling objections and doing sales and leading team calls and talking to people and talking in public places. Like, if you knew how hard that was for me in the beginning, like, if you could go back and see, like, be a fly on my wall in my bedroom, you probably would be like, this girl is not going to make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, no, no way. And I actually had a lot of non-believers. I had a lot of people that know me, personally, like family. I think family tends to be the most critical because they know the ins and outs. They know your weaknesses and your strengths, and they tend to be the ones like, yeah, right. Like, you're not gonna, you're not gonna go all the way to the top. Like, you can't do this. You don't know enough about sales. You're not a doctor. You're not this, you're not that. You don't have the credibility. Like, they're the ones most of the time to knock you down the most. And so I remember in the beginning having just like the doubt was stronger than the belief because of what people that I knew personally like would say either to my face or to someone I knew and it got back to me. And so if you've had an experience like that where you had someone doubt you or tell you that you're crazy or that these things don't work or the supplements don't work or whatever, like, I have grown so much over the years in my belief, not only of the products and what they do, but of the power of the business and of recruiting and of having a confidence in what I have to offer people. And what I want to add to you as a leader is that I want you to have the confidence in what you have to offer people as well. And you to know that despite all of the setbacks, those are actually the things that are making you a better leader. They are the things that are giving you compassion as a leader, helping you be a better coach, um, because there's no growth without, the hardship. There's no growth without the wind per se. I actually wanted to share a quick story, and then I'll turn the time over to Autumn. But I read this article or something. I don't remember what it was a long time ago. And so I might botch this because I didn't recently read it. Like, this is off of memory, but and I'm gonna read it soon because I really want to do a reel about this because I think it's so interesting. But um they put all these baby trees in this big dome, right? To protect it from all the outside environmental factors that could make, hurt the tree, right? Like the bugs and the wind and the rain and the storms. And, they didn't want like animals, tearing down the bark or damaging it. And so they put them all in this big dome. And it was really, really interesting because what they found was, I think like the dome got ruined or they removed the dome once the trees got so big or something like this. And when the second the wind came, it knocked all of the trees over because they didn't have the outside environmental factors that were bad for them, that, would maybe damage them or hurt them. They didn't have that opposition, that the root system didn't have to become widespread and strong because it didn't have the external force coming at it. And so the second they removed it, they were like, boom, they fell over. And so oftentimes we look at our journey as like those things that are those external factors, the environmental factors that are like pounding us and beating us down. And we are just like Why? I don't get it. Maybe this isn't meant for me, because if it was meant for me, it would be easier. Like, have you guys ever had that thought where you're like, this is too hard and it's just not possible? And I'm telling you now that it is that resistance and that wind and that pounding on you that is the very thing that will make you the leader that you are meant to be for other people, and that will make you a diamond. You know, they always say like diamonds are built under pressure, and that is what they mean, is that that pressure is what is shaping you and making your roots run deep so that you can withstand what's coming for you and be ready for it. So I hope that if you're going through a hard time, or if you've had opposition this week and you are just like, maybe this isn't for you, I hope that this has given you just that little reminder that you're actually exactly the girl for the job and this is exactly where you're supposed to be. So, Autumn, if you are ready, I'm excited for you to take like 10, 15 minutes to talk a little bit about your takeaways. If it's shorter, if it's 5, great. Like, no pressure here, you guys. This isn't meant to be like anything perfect. It's just like, what was your takeaway? Maybe it's 3 minutes. Go ahead and share it. We're excited to hear from you.
Thanks. And I love that. I've heard that about the trees before, and I think that's very cool. Just good reminder for us. So, okay, so this chapter was the 5 principles of time management. And so as I was reading it, um, the funny thing is I literally finished it this morning. So it was a good, like, thanks, Nicole, for motivating me to finish it. But so the first one was, it was talking about adding more days to your week. And I thought this was a very interesting concept because he talks about, instead of having 7 days in a week, you have 21 days, many days in a week. And I love that idea of breaking your day into 3 different sections and making sure you're utilizing each section of your day and you're planning it out. And I don't know, I thought that was very interesting because he talked about, by creating shorter days, my mind believes that each minute becomes more valuable. And I think that's so true, that if you focus on the mini days and the time that you have in that mini day, you are going to see the value of each minute more than the value of just a whole day and being like, oh, where did my day go today? So I liked that idea. Number 2 was a sense of urgency. This one was actually, I do this a lot where I will get something like, for example, I'm doing preschool videos for my son's preschool, and I got it a month ago and I have kind of procrastinated. And he talks about getting a big project and you procrastinate till the very end. And then you have that sense of urgency. So you get it done really quick and you get it done in a short amount of time, but you had X amount of time before that. So I just was thinking about this project that I have, and I have a month to do it. But if I wait till the last 2 days, then I'm stressing about it that whole time, versus if I get it done in the first 2 days or first week of the time frame that I have it, you're no longer stressing about it that entire month. You're using your time better because you have that sense of urgency. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see, one of the things he said was, so changing your mindset to have urgency in the beginning will help you to be more productive in the action items you have to complete. So kind of that same idea, that create urgency with each action item on your list for the day, so that instead of waiting for the end of the day or putting it off for tomorrow, you get it done and you can move it off your list and you don't have to stress about it anymore. So I liked that one. Number 3 was learn how to control time. It says, when you manage your time with a sense of urgency, you become the master instead of the servant, which I thought was interesting. So he also said, in the first 30 minutes of your day, plan out your day, meditate, pray, stretch, update yourself and your goals. So I thought this was interesting because how often do we feel like you are the servant of time? Like, oh, I have to get this done. And like, you don't look at it in a way of, I have 12 hours today to get X amount of things done. Instead, it's, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time to finish my this. So I like that thought of starting your day out with setting your goals, like looking at your goals and what goals you want to accomplish that day. Starting your day out with making a plan. a lot of times I'll go throughout the day and then be like, oh crap, I didn't get this done and this done and this done. So having that plan of, okay, I have this today, this day. So perfect example. Yesterday I went to the gym at 6. We had a dentist appointment at 9. I had to get my son to school at 10. I had a lunch meeting at 12:30, and then we had pick up school at 2, and then we had soccer at 5. And then, so I had all these things. And because I had planned out my day yesterday, it didn't feel overwhelming. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I wasn't I wasn't stressed about what I needed to do. I knew my day, the whole day. So planning out your day, giving yourself that freedom to be like, okay, I can take 10 minutes out of my day or an hour out of my day to work out so that I don't feel the stress of the rest of the day is worth it. So I thought that was very interesting. And then also the meditating literally takes 3 minutes if you want to meditate and to get yourself in a place where you're ready for the things that do come. Because as moms, as wives, as people, your day will get changed. Things come up, craziness happens, and it's just the way it is. So I liked that thought too of meditating first, so that when things change or happen or come up, or just to keep you on track, you're ready for it, and emotionally, mentally, you're prepared and you can do that. So I thought that one was kind of cool. Number 4 was measure your performance often. So he says, make sure you're measuring the right things, be clear on your goals, priorities, and standards. So I was thinking about this in our business. And for me, I've thought a lot about how I haven't got the enrollments that I've wanted to over the last 3 months, 4 months. So I could measure my performance by how many enrollments I have or haven't gotten. And then he talks about that you want to, if you're not meeting your goals, learn to identify not only the weakness, but the potential source of those weaknesses. So why am I not hitting my goals in enrollments? Why am I not hitting my goals in weight loss? Why am I not hitting my goals in lifestyle? Whatever it is. So identifying the weakness, but then learning how to find where it's coming from. And then having that plan of, okay, coming back to the performance and how can I up my performance and how can I meet my goals? And so he says, who's doing better? The person who shrinks their measurement interval, so the person that has more frequent measurement and updates on their measurement, or the person who rarely measures where they're at, which I thought was interesting. So if you look at people that set goals once a year, once they don't hit those goals, you forget about it, and then it's kind of like, it was a goal from January of 2023. It's not that big of a deal. Versus he talks about every Friday night. If you look at your plan and say, okay, what did I reach this week? How did I meet my goals? How can I measure those? And then planning, he talked about doing it Sunday night. Okay, what's my goals for this week? How am I going to measure my performance this week? So he talked about following up each week on what you're doing and what you're going to plan to do. So I thought that was an interesting way of measuring our own success and our own performance. So, and then the last thing that he talked about was focus on the future. So the one more thinkers have the innate ability to spend time dreaming and imagining about their future while taking decisive actions in the present to shape what lies ahead. And I thought of 2 different things with this. So the first one, he talks about if only and falling in love with your past. So I was thinking about falling in love with your past. And for me, I was thinking, okay, I was relating it to my fitness journey. And I could fall in love with my past of when I weighed 123 pounds but I didn't feel very good, but all I can think about is when I weighed 123 pounds. If I only focus on that, then what I'm doing currently is I'm not going to see any benefit. Versus if I say, okay, that was the past and I feel so much better now. I may not weigh 123 pounds, but I feel good. So focusing on what you can do now and in the future is going to better serve me versus on the past of, well, I did have this once and I hope I can get there someday again. There's no benefit to that. So I thought that was an interesting way of looking at our past things that we fall in love with versus what we can do in the future. And then the if only, for me, I thought about other network marketing businesses that I've done. So if only I had been successful in oils or makeup or clothing, then I would probably be more successful now in Plexus. But again, that doesn't serve me. So focusing on the future, what I can change for my future, and letting go of those past failures and processing those emotions so that I don't take them into my future self business life, I thought was an interesting thing that came up for me. So that was kind of my takeaway. The other thing that I liked, hold on, was he talked about changing others' perception of you. So he talked about when people see you're no longer wasting time, they begin to not waste your time, which I thought was interesting, that we all probably have people on our teams that waste our time, that tell us that they want to do the business or they want to take the supplements, but then they don't ever take them, or they complain about them not working but they don't actually take them each week, or they want to do the business, but they're not willing to share. So I like that thought of, is as people can see us, that we're not willing to waste our time, they will also not want to waste our time for the most part. So anyways, that was my takeaway. So hopefully that makes sense and gives some good information.
That was perfect. Thank you so much. I love all those takeaways. And I remember when I first read that chapter, like with the time, like there's actually, you can make like 21 days out of the, I'm like, whatever. Like, I remember just being like, this is so stupid. Like, no, I'm busy. I'm a busy mom. And all those excuses come to, rise up. But it's so interesting how the longer that I've done this business, the more disciplined I've become. And in the beginning, I actually thought that disciplined people were like, that it just wasn't fun anymore. Like it was boring, and that it actually just like too structured of a day, like was just tying up my time, And now I'm like, it's actually given me so much more freedom to have a plan and a schedule, and to look at the way that I see time differently. And so I really, even though he does his time a little different than I do, like it really, opened my eyes to all of that. So it was a really interesting chapter, and I love your takeaways. Okay, so Carly has a little business story. Are you wanting to say something, Liska? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I didn't know if I was interrupting. Can I say
Oh, go
something?
ahead. No, go ahead. I just couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, so I like whispered kind of. No, but I really like that same thing with the 3 parts to the day. I feel like I've done that without even realizing that I started doing that, like in the last, probably since like February, end of January, when I started Plexus. That was like one of my big reasons why I didn't want to do Plexus too. And I told my sister, I was like, I'm too busy, photographer and a mom, and I got 4 little kids at home. But I feel like as I have divided my day, like what Amanda was saying about scheduling out your day and planning out your day. Have your certain hours for sleep, certain hours for me. When I wake up, I take my daughter to school, work out every day. It's workout, and then I work on classes. And then my third part of the day is like with my kids, and when they're asleep, I take time and like focus on my photography business. So like I know where my time is going. I'm not idly wasting it, like Instagram. Like I can now go on Instagram for this. I know like what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. You're a little choppy, but I can tell what you're saying. I can tell what you're saying, but you're a little choppy.
Oh, can you hear me now, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
So
yeah,
anyway,
I know what you're saying.
agreed. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Like it's, if you just like fit it in like little sections, it's
Yeah,
like,
just put it
I
in
do,
sections.
yeah, I do this at this time. I do this at this time. And it's just, and I think that's a lot of it is just discipline. Like it's just saying, whether I really feel like it or not, I'm going to show up at that time and I'm going to do it. Like, I can't tell you how many times in the last 2 weeks I haven't wanted to go to the gym. Like, the last 2 weeks have been a lot for me, like, a lot, you guys. And there's been a lot, ask Kate, there's like a lot of times I've missed going, but I'm still like, okay, I need to go. I need to move my body, whether it's like a 20-minute walk or whether I show up or what, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's just that discipline of doing what you said you're going to do when you said you're going to do it. And sometimes there's days with kids that a lot, gets shuffled around. But if you have the plan overall, like you're taking action, you're moving the needle, right? I think that's kind of what you were saying, Liska. It was a little choppy. I don't know if it's because like your phone was down. I should have cut you off, but I was like, didn't want to. Okay. So Carly was going to share a little business story with us. Is that right, Carly? Did I say it right? Okay. Go ahead. And then I will share some verbiage and tips on talking to people when you're recruiting and talking about the business.
Nice. So I love what you had to share, Autumn and Nicole. And I think it's interesting because so many aspects of our Plexus business coordinate with our lives, and how you can plan not just Plexus time and work, but how important it is to plan your life and plan your activities and plan your cleaning and plan your work schedule and all the things. And it is interesting how Nicole says that, you think it makes sense to think that having like structured, rigid planning doesn't seem as fun, but it is interesting when you are actually scheduled out and you're productive, you're happier. Productive people are happier, right? Lazy people sometimes are not as happy because you're not getting stuff accomplished. You're not feeling that, accomplishment within yourself and that confidence and self-worth. And so it's so important in anything you do in life to have a plan and a schedule. And it doesn't mean it can't be flexible. Like we said, like, let's say your son wants to go, I don't know, get lunch or something. Okay, great. Like, there's ways to make sure that you have flexibility in it, but it's the principle of making sure that you're using your time wisely, because it will make you happier, even when we think it might not. So I really appreciate that sharing. And it's interesting with time, because the wonderful thing about our business is that we have time freedom. We have the ability to make our own schedules. We have the ability to be at certain things we want to be at and not be tied down to office hours or deadlines that we are not in control of. And it truly is a massive blessing, especially for stay-at-home moms, but for everybody. And when we search for people that we want to share this business, we need to know their why. And we've talked about whys before, and there's many different whys. There's people want money, people want to help other people, they want the community, but also it's super important that people want their own freedom and time. And we want to have that. And so my story was yesterday. So my sister-in-law has been on the Plexus products for a while, and I've talked to her about sharing. She's never really been up for it. But a couple weeks ago, she actually messaged me and just said, hey, I know one of her friends and her friend's husbands, and he has struggled for a long time with IBS, like serious IBS. And I didn't know that. And so she was talking to me about telling him about Plexus. So it was interesting because I'm like, she says she's not willing to share, but yet she's sharing. So it's like trying to figure out how to help her keep that going, without her feeling like she is sharing, because she is sharing, but she just says, I don't want to. So it's interesting. But yesterday, my niece, her daughter had a soccer game, and I was there and my parents were there, but Mary wasn't. And I was like, oh, where's Mary? That's my sister-in-law. And she had a meeting for this new business that she's being part of. But she missed her daughter's soccer game. And she even tried to leave the meeting early to get there on time, but there was an accident on the freeway and she missed the entire game. And her daughter scored 3 goals. So it was such an amazing opportunity to look at her and say, like, Plexus gives you this amazing opportunity to have time freedom. You don't have to schedule anything at that time that your daughter has a soccer game, and you wouldn't have missed it. And she's still a little bit hesitant, but I think it's super important that message gets across, that the reason why we share the business side is to help people in their lives in every aspect, whether it is time management, time freedom, financial freedom, just the ability to have the connection with people. And I love how Nicole says too, like, when we all start, a lot of us start, we're not super confident and we're not super organized and we don't really know what we're doing a lot, but it's okay. And we get started. And then as we grow, it's amazing how much the business aspect of Plexus helps you as a person. It gives you that confidence. It gives you that accomplishment. It gives you, the feeling of self-worth, and you can share with other people, and you have this amazing service that you give them to help them feel better and their lives feel better. And like with my sister-in-law, I know my brother's financial situation and he's doing a little bit better, but like I want to help her financially, and I want to help her so she doesn't miss her daughter's soccer games. My niece is soccer games and I'm the one there, and her own mom isn't there. I want to help her with that. And that's a good way and a good thought that could be her why. Maybe it's not finances, it's that time freedom. So something else I really thought about regarding having that kind of self-worth when you are doing your business and being your own boss. I read this little quote, and it talks about self-employment gives you the chance to utilize your skills and expertise in ways that's fulfilling on your part. Traditional employment limits you within the scope of your position, hindering you from your maximum potential. I hadn't thought about that as much, but it's true, right? If you have a job and you have a specific title, that's your title, right? There's really not a ton of opportunities for growth, or your growth is not dependent on you. It's dependent on what your boss thinks of you. And that's not a way that I want to live. I want to have my own potential and utilize the skills that I have and be able to grow myself as a person to help grow my business. And it's been an amazing blessing for me. And I like that it just says that, you're hindered from reaching your maximum potential, which is true. Where our Plexus business offers you the opportunity to grow as much as you want to grow. You can learn, you can, feel that self-esteem growth. You can also be frustrated at times, like Nicole said, where you feel like that tree that's just going to get blown over with the wind. But as we continue to grow and learn, like we're learning these time management skills and all the different things that come with this business, we will feel that self-worth, and we will be able to share what we have with everybody else, not just the products, but helping them see their potential in being a business leader, in being a service-oriented person who helps other people, in being a breadwinner who's going to get the finances that they haven't had from a spouse, or they're single and they need some better finances. But whatever their why is, we have the opportunity for them to maximize their potential, not hinder that, but to maximize whatever they want to become and however fast they want to grow. There is nobody putting a limit on our ranks. Nobody putting a limit on our ranks. You can grow as much as you want. And that is a truly amazing thing about this business. And I love being able to share it with people like my sister-in-law so I can give them time freedom. And it's just an amazing business. I wanted to share that little story and hopes that she will continue to reach out to her friends and tell me about her friends that need the products and grow into a business. So she has that opportunity that we all do. So it's important to share. And that's what I want to share.
Thank you, Carly. I love that. And I love that you're sharing the business side with her. Like that's in a natural way, because you can see how it'll benefit her. And I think a lot of times we're scared to share the business because we're only thinking that we're sharing it with them because we want to hit our next rank. And so we're like, oh, I feel kind of slimy inside. Like, I don't want to talk to her about the business because it benefits me. But you're looking at it in a perspective of how it benefits her because of what it's done for you. And really what I love about this business is that our efforts compound. So like when you were saying, like, it gives us, all the potential to be able to like work when we want and hit our max potential. What I love is like, I can literally make money when I'm at a game, sleeping, on vacation. Like I'll be getting all these emails like, Mary got a level 1. Amanda got a level 1. Liska got a level 1. Like, and I'm like, I'm on vacation making money. I'm making money while I sleep because someone might be awake when I'm not, you know? Like Jess is getting a level 1 at like 6 in the morning and I'm still sleeping. Like I love that our efforts compound over time, and that as I share my talents and you share your talents, like it really, like that effort together, that group effort is what makes us so strong and like such a wealth of knowledge. And I love that. You don't get that in other jobs, you guys. This is like the beautiful part of network marketing. So, I mean, I'm sure you do get it in other jobs to some degree. I shouldn't say that in everything, but, okay. So I'm going to share with you guys the 5 legitimate business reasons why everybody should take a look at this opportunity. Okay. So have you guys ever like tried to talk to somebody either about the products or the business? Because really these will apply to both. But have you ever tried to talk to someone about it and they're like, oh, like I don't have time for that. I don't have the money for that. Like I'm too busy. They'll like start giving you all these excuses like this is too much or whatever it is, all the excuses. And you're like, you didn't even like, you didn't even listen. Like, you don't even know what I'm going to share with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't even really get past that initial no, because they kind of have already made up their mind. And so, what I'm learning is, right, there's a reason why we do everything that we do. Everything. Like you got married for a reason. You got divorced for a reason. You started the diet for a reason. You quit the diet for a reason. Like every time you do anything, it's because you had a reason. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stack the reasons why somebody should take a look at what you're doing. That's all we're doing. We're just going to stack the reasons why. And I really want you guys to promise me that you will memorize these simple phrases and incorporate them into the way that you talk to people. And I'm actually still trying to memorize them. I have notes here. I feel like sometimes they flow naturally in conversations, and then other times I have to go back and I have to read over my notes again and be like, oh, right. Yes, that one. I forgot that one. You know what I mean? So I'm not perfect at this, but I have been incorporating this language into the way I talk to people the last couple of weeks, and I've been getting really good results from it. This is not something that I made up. This is like legit things that work when you're talking to people about recruiting them in any way, about objections. Okay. So there's always reasons to quit. There's always reasons to keep going, and the reasons that you choose will define you. That is like one of my favorite things right now. There's been so many times I like wanted to quit this or wanted to quit something else, and I've gone through a really hard time, and I'm like, what kept me around? And I'm like, because I had enough reasons to stay. So it's really important that when we're handling objections, that we're giving like people, their minds are so much more open than we think. Like we think it's like a fixed, like, oh, they said no, they're not interested. They just need the right reasons. So we're going to go over this. This is so good. Okay. So we're going to give people more reasons to say yes than to say no. And I'm excited to share it with you. So number 1, and I will share these notes with you. You actually might get more from my notes than this if you're visual. I'm going to share all these notes in my Limitless Leadership group on Facebook. I'm trying to put all the training there for recruiting. So that's like my just recruiting group. Like I want to train new leaders. I want you to be able to have a new leader come on. I remember the first time like Jess joined me, and I went to Katie and I was like, okay, I have a builder. What do I do? I have no idea how to train her. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like I want you to have a new builder and be like, I know exactly where to send you because all of the training is there and it's duplicatable and it's easy. And I was talking to Linnea this week, who she can't get on this call because she works during this time. So she watches the replay, but she was saying like, well, first of all, like I work full time, so like I can't get on the calls. And second of all, like I find a lot of the people I talk to work, and so they can't get on the calls. And so I'm like, how can I make a system that is more duplicatable for people so that it takes less time? If we're asking for somebody to do the business with us that already works full time and we're asking them to get on an hour-long Zoom, they're going to be like, girl, you're crazy. We need to make our systems more duplicatable. And so this is what I'm going to be doing. And I kind of said this in my group thread to Melissa the other day when she's like, well, where are you sending them when you're talking about the business? And I said, I'm going to create a business video. And the reason why I haven't done it yet is because it's not going to be me just talking to my phone. It's going to be done professional, that looks very professional. And it's going to be an opportunity video in 3 minutes of why people should join you. And it's going to be done in a way of not them joining me, but me like inviting them to join the person that invited them to watch the video, right? Kind of like when we do like business Zoom calls and you might not be training, but you're inviting people. So I really want to make this a smaller ask to stack those reasons for them to say yes. Instead of saying, can you hop on a 30-minute Zoom call? You can say, can you listen to a 3-minute video? Do you see how much more simple and duplicatable that is? So I have not done that video yet. So for now, when you're inviting them to take a look at things, it will be a Zoom call or information that you have, or like maybe adding them to the Sparking group or whatever it is, but that video is to come, just so you know. Okay, so number one, the first reason is it always makes sense for good people to meet. Okay, this is a phrase, these are the phrases I want you to memorize and to use in your language when talking to people. It always makes sense for good people to meet. Okay, so like when you're connecting somebody to somebody else, like say you're like wanting to put them in a throwaway message, say you're brand new and you're like, oh, I really wish they could talk to Nicole, or I really wish they could talk to Jess or Carly or my upline or whatever. You could say something like I would love for you to talk with my friend and have like get her coaching too. It's just always good for, it always makes sense for good people to meet. People are so much more open to that verbiage because you're kind of complimenting them already by saying that they're good too, right? And so this is really good language, okay? Number 2 is write down all good business is referral business, okay? All good business is referral business. So the best compliment you can give any company is a referral. Think about it. When you go to a restaurant and you like the food and you refer someone, that is the best compliment you can give that restaurant. Okay. So, I'm going to read this so I don't mess up. Okay. So when someone comes to you and they say, I don't have time, say this is their objection. I don't have time. You can say, listen, I totally understand. This may not even be for you. So I don't know if you listened last week, but do you remember how I said that you have to let people off the hook? You have to withdraw because people are naturally sales resistant. So if they feel like you're selling to them, they're automatically going to withdraw and be like, I got to get out of here because I'm going to get trapped in a corner. They don't want to feel that way. Okay. So this may not even be for you. I understand how busy you are. I just believe all good business is referral business. I'd love for you to check out what I'm up to. And even if it's not for you, which sounds like it's not, see how you're still withdrawing, like there's no pressure here, right? I just believe all good business is referral business and would candidly love the referral because you may know somebody that this would be a good fit for. Would you at least check out what I'm up to? I'll send you a 3-minute video, or for now you could say like Zoom webinar or come to the event, whatever, you could fill that in, right? You can review the information. And once you do, if it's not a good fit for you, all good business is referral business. And I would appreciate the referral for someone else. Do you see how like literally what you're doing is you're opening a door for them to review what you want them to look at? Because oftentimes they're so sales resistant, they don't even want to look at it. But the second they feel like you're not even trying to pressure them, like you're like, this might not even be for you, they're so much more likely to look at it and to actually think of somebody that could help, but they are actually more likely to also say, hey, that actually might be something that I would need, because they're actually looking over it. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to get people to like get on a Facebook group and they say yes, but they don't even check it out because they're sales resistant. So that's number 2. All good business is referral business. Okay. Number 3 is life timing. Okay. When we're talking about life timing, we're looking for people at high noon. So when you think about the small hand on a clock and the big hand on the clock, when they come together, they're at high noon pointing up, right? So oftentimes, like we're at high noon, we're doing the business, we're at high noon, we're like, let's go, but oftentimes like other people are like this. They're not quite there yet. Okay. And so the small hand and the big hand, this is what they represent. Wait, I think I wrote it down. Okay. Right person, right time. That's what the small hand and the big hand represents. So you might have the right person, but you don't have the right time. Does that make sense? So life timing is number 3. Okay. And so many people that I've talked to about either the business or the products, it has not been the right timing for them, but because I stayed consistent, they came around. So just know that if there's like, that's what when we say, no doesn't mean no forever. That's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the life timing. So this is how the language would look, right? Somebody says, I'm too busy. Like you're like, hey, could you look at this or whatever? I'm too busy or no, or I'm not interested or whatever. You could say this back. This is how you would handle the objection. Listen, I totally understand that. You very well may be too busy. I'd love for you to at least look at what I'm up to, because I know how important life timing is. I'm getting a call. Hold on. If right now is the wrong time, I would love for you to know what I'm up to, because 6 months from now, when your situation changes, I want to be the first phone call you make. So do you see how you're just like, if you're getting them to review the information now, they're more likely to remember you and reach out to you, because you're planting that seed right now and you're withdrawing. You're saying, might not be the right time for you. No problem. But if you review it now, if 6 months from now things change, I want to be the first phone call that you make. You're just planting the seed and opening the door. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4 is knowledge is never a disadvantage. Okay. Knowledge is never a disadvantage. And you might have the rare circumstance where someone's like, well, actually in this situation, like it gave me anxiety, whatever. You could add in, it's almost never a disadvantage. If you want, if you feel more comfortable with that. I like it without the almost, because I feel like knowledge is power, right? So, I just believe that knowledge is never disadvantaged. So I just love for you to see what I'm up to. At least you'll know what I'm working on. Like, this is the reason why this verbiage is so good. And if you start to memorize this, you'll be able to talk face to face with people too. And they're going to, and I honestly encourage doing voice messages too over typing it, because they're going to feel the tone and the fluctuation in your voice. Me and my husband were talking about this last night. We were actually like laughing so hard. You don't even want to know the conversation where it went, but we were talking about what a difference it makes to hear the tone and the fluctuation in someone's voice. So for example, have you guys ever seen Love is Blind? No? Okay. My husband convinced me to watch it the other day, and it's where these couples, like all the men and all the women, like on The Bachelor, but it's like equal amount of men, equal amount of women. They go and Love is Blind. Okay. Someone's seen it. Okay. So they go into these pods where they can't see each other. And so they're dating and they can hear each other's voice and have conversations without ever seeing each other. So it's called Love is Blind, right? So it's about people falling in love with somebody that they have never seen, and they literally propose to them before they've seen them.
And then after that, it shows whether it works out or not. And it's really funny. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's interesting because a lot of them fall in love with this person because they can feel the way that they're flirting with them in their voice. Like they're like, they validated me and they were so like romantic and like they were flirty and they literally fall in love with someone, and they can tell not only by the way, like your senses are different, right? When you can't see someone, your senses are different. And so that's why I think texting sometimes is so interesting, because we can't hear that fluctuation in their voice. It could just be like a message that's not genuine. And so when we're sending a voice message or talking face to face or calling someone up on the phone, this is like, they're hearing so much more come through than just a message. And so when we can memorize some of these sayings and use it confidently, like this is really going to make a difference. So you guys have to go watch Love is Blind. It's actually really hilarious. Like I'm enjoying it. Okay. So, so number 4 was knowledge is never a disadvantage. And I shared the verbiage for that. And I will post this, like I said. So number 5 is write down crystal clear. Okay. This is the last one, crystal clear. Okay. Them. I'm just going to go with this other company. Like say you're like, they're like, oh, like I've had a lot of people be like, oh, I might go with like this company for gut health, or I might just order it on Amazon. Or maybe you're talking about the business and you're like, will you take a look at this? And they're just like, yeah, I'm not interested. Like, I'm just going to do this thing or whatever it is. Okay. Whatever situation it is, you could fit it to work. Okay. You're going to say, listen, it may not be for you. So once again, you're giving them a way out. You're releasing the pressure. You're withdrawing. Okay. It may not be for you. If that's what you do, so referring to like, say they go with this other company, say they go order on Amazon. If that's what you do, I totally support you. I just want you to be crystal clear on what you're saying no to. If I send you a video, will you watch it? So you're just saying like, don't care if you go with the other company, don't care what you do, just want you to be crystal clear on what you're saying no to. The guy that gave me this verbiage, he had another lady that wanted to go do network marketing with a different company. And she said, I'm going to go with this company. And he used this verbiage, and she ended up being a diamond leg for him. She ended up joining him and being a diamond leg because she watched a 3-minute video, because he approached her objection. So oftentimes, like when we're new at this business, it's like someone gives us an objection. What do? We're like, oh, I don't know what to say. So you don't say anything. Like you're just like, okay, whatever. Cause what? Because we don't want to be pushy. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people on my team say, but I don't want to be pushy. But what I love about this verbiage is it's not pushy. It's really not. Like you're saying either way is fine with me. If you go with the other company, I totally support you, but you're at least giving them a reason to review the information long enough for them to make a decision. Remember how the I plus E equals E? I shared that last week. It's I is information plus E is education equals empowerment. So when we're like informing and educating, we're empowering them to make the right decision for them. We're not being pushy. We are just guiding them through the process. Okay. So I'm going to show you an example of all 5 of these weave together. So you can weave all of the sayings together as well. And this, I think, would take a little bit more, like if you're saying it face to face, this would take a little bit more practice as you memorize these sayings, but it's kind of fun to see how they come together. Okay. So they haven't, say this is a person that hasn't reviewed the business or the information that you've given them. And they just came to you and just said like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Okay. Listen, this may not be for you. I know you haven't had a chance to review the information. I just believe that knowledge and good information is never a disadvantage. And if right now is the right time, great. If not, that's totally fine. I want you to know what I'm up to. So if 6 months from now, your situation changes, I want to be the first phone call you make, and I just believe all business is referral business. So at least want you to review the information, because even if it's not the right thing for you, you may know somebody that it would be the right thing for them. And I would candidly appreciate the referral. If you want to say no, it's totally fine with me. I just want you to be crystal clear on what you're saying no to. So do you see how it's like all intertwined together? I know that like there might be some of you that are just like, I would never do this. This is so pushy. It's not pushy. This is basic communication. And it's also the thing that I love about it is that it shows a lot of confidence on your part to be able to talk them through, their objection, but also doing it in a way where you're not pressuring them. Like every single message I shared with you was like, this may be for you, it may not be for you. This might be a good fit, it might not be. This might not be the right time. Either way, when you take a look at it, like you're literally just saying like, either way is great. And I wish I would have had this verbiage 4 years ago, because when people would tell me no, I would just be like, okay, cool, peace out. Like I just like, I had no confidence to handle objections. And I believe that as you have confidence to handle objections, that you will have more conversations. And as you have more conversations, you will have more success in recruiting and in building business builders. And as you use these tools and you implement them, you will be a better coach to help your leaders implement them so that it's duplicatable. Because truthfully, this business is all about simplicity and duplication. And if we're overcomplicating it, we're not going to take action. And if we're not taking action, we're not going to go anywhere, right? So this verbiage, like I said, I read it out so that it would be like really good for you guys to hear, but I want you guys to go and practice it in your own way and to know, like, I've been using this verbiage and it hasn't come out perfectly scripted when I use it, but the more that I do it, the more it rolls smoother off my tongue. Like I used it for a friend at the gym, like I invited her to the event this weekend and I was just like, this timing might not be right for you. Like I just totally like release that pressure, and she's way more likely to come now. Like she's actually saying, I'm going to try to make it work, opposed to not. And so anyways, let me know if you have questions. We're about up with time. Thank you, Carly. I'm excited. Like you guys, I am so excited for this, and like the trainings that I've been doing are really changing the way that I look at my business. And I'm so excited to like dump all of this in that group. Like I said, the Limitless Leaders group on Facebook, not the messenger thread, the one on Facebook is where I'm going to be putting all this information. And I know you guys are in a lot of groups. And so I've really resisted doing this for a long time because I don't want to give you guys like an overload of like, well, what group do I go to? So originally, I was going to do the Limitless Leaders group as like a full business page. And maybe one day we will, where we add, everybody to it and we do shout outs and stuff like that. But for now, I decided it's not even a group I want to do shout outs in. It's just a group that I want all the training to be in, so that it's like a really easy resource for you when you're like, crap, like somebody just gave me this objection. I don't remember what to say. Okay, I know where I'll go. I'm going to go there and I'm going to watch that video about this, or I'm going to look up the verbiage. So this is literally not a group that's meant to overwhelm you. It's just a group that's meant to be there for a resource for you specifically around recruiting and verbiage on what to say and how to handle objections. So I hope that this is helpful for you guys. If you do have questions, like please reach out to me privately, or let's see, probably the Healthiest Dating Show. Yeah, it really is. Like the thing that I like about that show, you guys, is that like they actually like form a deep connection. Like it's not just like a physical, like whether they're attracted or not. So it's really a fun show. But okay, so that's all from me, but I will put that information, that verbiage in there today. So if you like want the exact notes, it'll be there. And I will share that group in my team page and in Jess's team page, just in case like you like, or you could just reach out to me, like if you aren't part of it, and I'll just send you the link for it if you want to be a part of that, if you're not in there already. And Becky, you're more than welcome to be in there as well if you're not. So anyways, I love you guys. And I let's like use this verbiage to start having more interactions, because I know a lot of you guys have said like, my recruiting's down, like I'm not recruiting. And I know that the more conversations that you get in and the more people you get reviewing the information, your recruiting will skyrocket. I promise you that. So I want this video that I'm making, the 3-minute video, I want it to look really professional. And that's why I'm not like speeding to do it, because I need to find a photographer and stuff for it. And so I know that you won't have that right away, but just know that it is something that I am working on getting done in the near future. So anyways, love you guys, and feel free to make your own 3-minute video if you need something sooner. So, okay. All right. Love you guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. And I'm excited to see some of you on Saturday at the event. Super excited for that.